What's up, everybody? This is Chris Sarai bringing you another edition of the Car Concierge Show, the show that helps with the buying, selling, maintaining, and repairing of your vehicles. On today's show, we're going to talk about Stellantis as they sell another one of their properties in Michigan. We're also going to talk about another company that is going to be buying property or opening up business in Michigan. And last but not least, we're going to dive into Trump's little speech about Canada and the economic force and its desire to make Canada one of the 51st states and how it's going to affect the automotive industry. So let's jump right in. Of course, we're going to start with Stellantis, and like as you all know, they are just the worst. They have continuously destroyed U.S. automakers that have been booming for ages, and it's just sad. It's just extremely sad that we're dealing with this company that has decided that it's going to, be like a corporate raider, like I always say, and try to first make its bones off of these U.S. automakers, and then when their former COO or CEO has destroyed everything by lack of marketing, lack of innovation, all these things that stop Stellantis or these U.S. automakers from growing. And now we're just dealing with a situation where they're just doing what I've said for such a long time, just getting rid of everything, just selling it off piece by piece. And then I'm telling you, for us, I think, I'm going to just say that for the end. Let's check out the story. Okay, so Stellantis has decided that it is going to sell another one of this. All right, so of course, our favorite source for automotive news. Stellantis sells massive Mopar complex. And this is from January 7th by Kurt Nagel, Crane's Detroit Business. All right. Stellantis has sold its massive 1.2 million square foot Mopar complex in the Detroit suburb of Center Line, once considered the world headquarters of the automaker's parts division, as it looks to centralize Mopar operations in the Midwest. The automaker will continue to temporarily occupy the warehouses 13 miles north of Detroit, where it employs 500 UAW represented workers under a sale-leaseback agreement, Stellantis confirmed. The company told officials with the city of Center Line, Mopar's home since 1953, that operations would continue until at least April 2027 and possible until 2029. City manager Dennis Champagne told Automotive News affiliate Crane's Detroit Business. I think the political leadership in my office sees this as sad and unfortunate. It's tough to see Mopar go, Champagne said, but on the flip side, if it is redeveloped as projected, that is absolutely a good thing. The buyers, Ashley Capital of New York City and CSC Capital of Hazel Park, Michigan, plan to eventually demolish the aging complex for a redevelopment on the 80-acre site that sits along a key industrial corridor. The Center Line deal closed shortly before the new year. The purchase price was not disclosed. Stellantis spokeswoman Jody Tenson said the move is part of the Mopar consolidation plans outlined in the 2023 UAW collective bargaining agreement, which called for construction of a new $30 million mega hub to be launched in 2026. The sale of the Mopar facility in Center Line, finalized in December with a leaseback agreement, ensures operations and employment for the approximately 500 UAW represented employees will continue uninterrupted until a new facility is completed, Tennyson said in an email. A likely landing spot for the mega hub is a former golf course and farmland across from the old Ford Romeo engine plant in Washington Township, 36 miles north of Detroit. Crane's Detroit reported last summer, but Stellantis has not confirmed the location. While discussions about a Mopar mega hub in Michigan are ongoing, the future site will be state-of-the-art with new technology and innovation, as well as a very safe and modern working environment for our employees that will be operationally carbon net zero, consistent with our Dare Forward objectives to deliver cleaner, more environmentally responsible operations, Tenson said. The company is also in various stages of selling and consolidating other parts distribution centers in Marysville, Michigan, 50 miles northeast of Detroit, Milwaukee, and Atlanta, with plans for leasebacks during any transition. Mopar has been a fixture in the Centerline business community for more than 70 years. It has been vital for the 1.7 square mile city's tax revenue, and the company has been a great partner to the city, Champagne said. Mopar has been a key sponsor of the city's annual Independence Festival, for example. At the same time, its presence has been steadily declining. The complex, composed of 4 main buildings, housed more than 1,000 employees some 15 years ago. 2 of the buildings are largely empty now, Champagne said. Centerline was officially recognized as the home of Mopar in 2012, according to a news release at the time, which referred to the Centerline complex as Mopar's world headquarters. It is not clear when the company stopped referring to it as such. While Mopar's administrative headquarters have always been at the Chrysler Technology Center in Auburn Hills, the Centerline location has housed warehouse and packaging operations for more than 30 years, Tennyson said. Mopar became a central issue in the 2023 negotiations with the UAW, which orchestrated walkouts in Centerline and other parts plants around the country as part of its wildcat strike. The union's collective bargaining agreement with Stellantis eliminated tiered wages at Mopar and increased employee pay by up to 76%, according to the UAW. Dumbasses. Ashley Capital has been a prolific developer of old industrial real estate in southeast Michigan, replacing factories with Amazon-style warehouses for a variety of users. One of its largest current undertakings is the redevelopment of Buick City in Flint. CSC Capital, a small real estate investment firm, also had its eye on the Mopar Centerline property. We were both looking at it and said, why don't we do it together, said Michael Khalil, Chief Investment Officer and Co-Principal of CSC Capital. To us, it is irreplaceable industrial land in the heart of Metro Detroit. Champagne said he is hopeful that the redevelopment will drive tax revenue, and he is confident in Ashley's capital ability to deliver, given its impeccable record with other projects in the region. All right, so really interesting read there, and just okay, there's a couple of key points in this. One of the main points is, of course, the decline of this facility in itself, the loss of 500 employees, and then turn around and say that, well, those employees that stayed got 76% raise, if I read that correctly, and it's just unfortunate that these employees don't understand that. I understand demanding more or desiring more, but there's a limit. You have to understand there's got to be a limit, guys. You can't just go, you can't break the bank, and we've seen this. We know this to be oh so true now. We know it to be oh so true because we've seen countless and countless layoffs around the country, specifically with Stellantis, specifically at factories and facilities like these. And why is it? Because you opted into this UAW contract that, albeit, made everything look fantastic from the top, but once everything came out and came true, it was proven that these contracts were incentive based. They were so incentive based that it allowed for, if those incentives weren't met, and of course if those incentives were met, they would have the money in most cases to keep these employees that they had to lay off. But of course they didn't care to do the marketing, do all these other things that would help Stellantis grow. So none of those incentives were met, and it's just a situation where we saw a constant cavalcade of layoffs. And this facility right here, it said it had over 1,000 employees, and now only has 500. But those 500 employees are getting paid very well, but they have no idea how long their jobs are going to last. Maybe 2027, maybe 2029, who knows? Nobody has any idea what these new people are going to do when they get into the facility. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything involving the automotive industry. It's not going to look like it's going to be anything involving Mopar parts. So it's probably not going to be a situation where these 500 UAW members are going to be able to get jobs in. It's a sad situation. It continues to be a sad situation. We talk about this too much. Too much. I mean, I honestly do expect a lot of positive things in the future, but Stellantis is not one of them. And, you know, the true hope is that we get some groundbreaking point where we as a U.S. conglomerate and as American citizens, or, you know, some desire of some people here in the U.S. to buy back these U.S. automakers from Stellantis. We have to. I mean, and let's face it, they're going to come up for sale here shortly anyway. So at that point, I mean, the idea or the hope would be that some people, if I had the money, I'd do it. But some people pull their money together so they can buy these back. Because ever since they became part of Stellantis, it's been a downward turn. And I've said so many times, I think it's planned. You know, I think it's just a corporate raider situation. I think it's just, we're going to buy these U.S. automakers. If they do well, we're going to keep them. If they don't do well, we ain't going to support them. But if they do well without our support like they were doing before us, then we're going to keep them. But now, if they don't do well, we just auction them off in parts like they're doing right here. All right, guys, let's keep it going. Keep it going. Let's shoot it up and... Sorry, that sounded bad. So, let's go up and look at some positive stuff. So, we were just in Michigan. Let's stay in Michigan and talk about a company that is talking about bringing some stuff to Michigan that's going to help the situation. It just depends if it helps the situation or not, but let's check it out anyway. All right, so, of course, automotive news. Italian auto design company stakes out $20 million U.S. headquarters in Detroit area. Back at it. All right, so Kurt Nagel, my man, is doing good work over at Automotive News. A prominent Italian automotive design and engineering company is planting a flag in suburban Detroit where it plans to invest $20 million for its U.S. headquarters. Nice. Italian Design will create 24 jobs in its new office in Bloomfield Township, Michigan, on Telegraph Road, Governor Gretchen Whitmer's office announced Tuesday. The jobs are in engineering, sales, and marketing and administration with an average wage of $56.70 per hour, according to the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, which awarded the company a $200,000 performance-based grant. The company had considered sites in Ohio and California. The United States play a key role in our global strategy, partnering with major automotive players and providing the widest range of services today available on the market, Antonio Casu, Ital Design Global CEO, said in a news release. Renowned for its design work with a host of companies from Detroit automakers to foreign luxury brands, Italian Design employs more than 1,000 people in Italy, Spain, Germany, and China. The company specializes in styling, engineering, and production for established and emerging automakers. It also does software development, electronics, integration, and validation. We are growing our economy, bringing supply chains home, and showing the world that Michigan is the best place to build cars, chips, batteries, and cutting-edge technology of the future, Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist said in a news release. Gilchrist was among a delegation of Michigan officials at CES in Las Vegas, where Ital Design unveiled plans for its new headquarters. The annual Consumer Technology Show has become a staple for auto suppliers and tech companies to showcase their latest wares to the industry. All right, so now, great stuff. Not great stuff, but it's cool. See, it's not about the 24 employees, which in itself is still great. I mean, it's going to give some people over in Michigan that probably lost jobs in this last kerfuffle of auto industry problems, you know, an opportunity to get jobs. So that's a great thing. The better thing is that this company is pretty much one of those companies that helps design cars, and that's kind of what we need. You know, we've lacked in the innovation part of the design of some of our cars, specifically these automakers that we have. And this is one of those companies that can help with that. It specializes in a lot of those things, specializes in innovation, and that's definitely what we need. So the fact that that's coming here and it's going to be in Detroit, and you know, we have to make Detroit the staple of the automotive industry like it was before. And I don't know how we lost that. I know how we lost it, but Detroit has built itself up to be supreme now. It is the place to be. Italian design is showing you that by, you know, $20 million in, some jobs from people that live in Michigan, some innovation, and they're in the central cut. So if they're that company that does all these little innovation things, and we still got our U.S. automakers still planted in Michigan, this is what it should be. This is what we need, and this is positive. This is great news. This is a great thing because, you know, we understand that we're going to have to make some absolutely fantastic moves when we buy back these U.S. automakers and start building them back up. It's got to happen. I'm telling you, we can't. There's no way we can compete with the mergers of the Hondas and Nissans and the Chinas that are backed by their government and forced to work together. We can't compete unless we do pretty much the same thing, and that's what we got to do. So, shout out to all Autobots. We need to understand that here in the future, when Stellantis decide that it's going to put our U.S. automakers up for sale again, that we have to find those Americans that understood the automotive industry and have a desire to put us back on top, pretty much like Trump is. All right, so that leads us into our last story. And this is going to be probably a short show. It's, you know, not a lot going on, but got to keep y'all informed. So, Trump did a speech recently, spoke about economic force and Canada and the border and the automotive industry. So, we're going to review that really quickly, and we'll talk about it. All right, so matter of fact, let's just do it. I'll talk about it afterwards.
You said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada. We lose in trade deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. You know, they make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in
Did y'all know that Canada made 20% of our cars? I mean, this is one of those things where, you know, specifically when I speak about the automotive industry, where there's a lot of stuff that Trump said that I totally agree with. And one of the things is that we have to bring all of our production of cars, you know, all of our production of automotive parts specifically for our automakers, but all of that we have to bring back home. We have to we allow, you know, the import market to overwhelm us. You know, we allowed other countries to, you know, bring lots of their products here, but not allow our products there, and we have to get rid of that altogether. So, let me rewind that a little bit.
deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. You know, they make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit. We don't need the cars. We don't need their lumber. We have massive fields of lumber. We don't need their lumber. We have to unrestrict them because stupid people put, restrictions on, but I can do that with an executive order. We don't need anything they have. We don't need their dairy products. We have more than they have. We don't need anything. So why are we losing $200 billion a year and more to protect Canada? And I said that to, as I called him, Governor Trudeau. I said, listen, what would happen if we didn't subsidize you, if we didn't, because we give them a lot of money.
So this is going to be, and would he even, see, that's why you got to love Trump. Would he even, after Trudeau came to Mar-a-Lago and sat down with him and then retired, do we think that those two things, had anything to do with each other? I mean, it's like, it's the one thing about the Trump is that he eludes some sort of essence of power that people will respond to. Even when I met him over in Pebble, he this dude was just, he was great. He was nice. I don't know. It's weird. Let's keep it going.
We help them. As an example, we're buying icebreakers, and Canada wants to join us in the buying of icebreakers. I said, we don't really want to have a partner in the buying of icebreakers. We don't need a partner. But no right. Nope. No right. Here's what we have. We have a right not to help them with their financial difficulties because we owe $36 trillion too. We're going to start knocking it out pretty fast, but we're going to be able to do it because of energy and other things. But no right. No right. But why are we supporting a country, $200 billion plus a year? Our military is at their disposal. All of these other things, they should be a state. That's why I told Trudeau when he came down, I said, what would happen if we didn't do it? He said Canada would dissolve. Canada wouldn't be able to function if we didn't take their 20% of our car market. They send us hundreds of thousands of cars. They make a lot of money with that. They send us a lot of other things that we don't need. We don't need their cars, and we don't need the other products. We don't need their milk. We got a lot of milk. We got a lot of everything. And we don't need any of it. So I said to him, well, why are we doing it? He said, I don't really know. He was unable to answer the question. But I can answer it. We're doing it because of habit. And we're doing it because we like our neighbors, and we've been good neighbors. But we can't do it forever, and it's a tremendous amount of money. And why should we have a $200 billion deficit and add on to that many, many other things that we give them in terms of subsidy? And I said, that's okay to have if you're a state. But if you're another country, we don't want to have it. We're not going to have it with European Union either. European Union, we have a trade deficit of $350 billion. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm product. They don't take anything. And so we're not going to have it with them either.
I mean, let's face it, guys. I mean, this is why we honestly believe that, this is going to be a good year. Because we have to take back our power. We have to do all these things that made us great in the first place. We've helped ourselves into a problem when it comes to pretty much everything. And I'm going to speak, primarily of the automotive industry. Hundreds of thousands of cars from Canada when we have the biggest automakers here in the United States. The import of cars from China that we're continuously getting vehicles from the EU. Why? Just to help them, or because we like variety? It's put us in such a hole. I mean, $1 trillion hole. In some states, close to the same situation. And we have to work out of it. And the only way we can work out of it is cut the fat. I don't know, I can't remember where I heard that from, but we got to cut the fat. If we're spending too much here, we got to cut it. I mean, I did one of my viewing apps. They raised the cost of it. I'm gonna cut the fat. I don't watch that much TV to the point where I really need it. So if it's something that you're spending money on, hey, rocket money. If there's something that you're spending money on that you don't use anymore, you got to cut the fat. And it'd be different if there was a lot of reciprocity, but there's not. That's the whole situation. That's what he means by stating that if Canada was a state, I mean, it'd be part of us. So we would be more inclined to help you. But you're a whole nother country. And if we're giving you all of this help and all of this assistance and you're not giving us a lot in return, you're just selling stuff to us, not a lot of reciprocity there. Same as with China. It's going to be a situation, and we're going to have to wait. Of course, it's always going to be a wait and see situation. The man is not even president yet. But of course, specifically for the automotive industry, you said some great things. I think the tariffs are a great thing, even if it's just a threat to the point where we get them to help more, to build facilities here for parts or stuff like that, so that we start to make money off of these companies as much as they make money off of us. I think that alone brings the tariff situation to a great idea. Even if it's a threat and they just make changes and you don't have to do the tariffs, even better. Making Canada another state, it's a bold statement. It's a bold statement, Cotton. I don't know if it's something that he being really truthful about, but I mean, it'd be interesting. I love Canada. Shout out to Toronto Argonauts. I love Canada. Strip clubs is fantastic. But, I mean, that's, making another state, I don't see how that works. If making it a part of us, that sounds great. I could see a lot of benefits from that. But it's just a weird thing. It's a weird thing to think about, specifically if you ever been to Canada and you know how the process of having to get to Canada and all that kind of stuff. So, but I mean, it's Trump, and who knows what we're going to see in this coming year. I expect great things, and I hope and pray that the things that he is saying about the automotive industry, play out well for us, because we've lost it all when it comes to the automotive industry. Just way too many layoffs. It was just so much the backbone of our country, and we've lost so much of it. I mean, and it tears at my heart, of course, because I'm from the Midwest. I have so many family members that worked at the Ford plant, over at Otis Elevator and all these type of things, worked at Mopar. My brother works at a parts plant right now in the Midwest. So it's a dire situation, and we have to do whatever we can to try to build upon the automotive industry that for all the stuff that we've lost already. And I think Trump is going to help us do that. I really do. I really do. All right, guys, just a quick show. It's always a pleasure to jump on here and get with y'all. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes. It's been great. I've been, I don't get, I love it. And I appreciate it. And I'm going to continue to do it. We're going to do more shows, strictly helping you out about your cars. You can always hit me in my DM if you need information about car insurance or buying a car, anything like that. That's what I'm here for, and I love talking about it, and I love to help you, even if it's something small as finding a place to get your engine replaced near you that's going to be cheap. Had to do that a lot lately. So, thank you for tuning in. I'm Chris Surratt, and I'm out. Peace.